One other issue Mr. Gbakuba raised when he spoke to the press was also the speed, what he calls the speed of justice. He believes that, it's very slow, and it has set us many years back, and he believes that such should also be discussed at the conference.
No, I don't think Mr. Gbakuba said the speed of justice, speed should be part of the conference. I think he was talking about something else completely. He was talking about how we can basically improve on administration of criminal justice in the country. So he made a couple of suggestions as to how we can make the judicial system a bit more efficient. More like a clinic where if a patient has a problem, you take the patient to the clinic, and in a couple of days, the patient is treated. So that's what the speed of justice is about. So it has nothing to do with the conference, itself.
Well, anyway, it was such misgivings, or should I say observations, for civil societies in the country. Have they been able to reach out to is the committee still open to take in some of these, because now that the outcome or their suggestions is within the public space, is there any avenue for anyone to reach them so that you can bring some of these observations you just raised?
No, why we're making these observations is so that they can assist the president, because what they've put forward here is a recommendation. So we're hoping that these things we're putting in the public space would also help the president in making his decisions. Now, if you read the report, you realize that they gave options, like on the issue of whether the president who can convene, or whether the president can convene. They give the option of the president exercising his powers under Section 5, and the president seeking for asking for an enabling law from the National Assembly. But we just felt it would, why still include that requirement? Asking for an enabling law, because Section 5 actually empowers the president to convene the conference. And of course, there are other reasons why we're even asking that the president convene it without necessarily asking for a legal backing from the National Assembly. The National Assembly at the moment is highly politicized. If we throw the National Conference into the National Assembly, I can assure you that it's dead on arrival. So these are all the issues we're looking at.
And some people think otherwise. They've always said that, the legality or otherwise, or legitimacy of that particular conference or talk, will amount to nothing if it's not taken to the National Assembly.
No, I do not agree.
So what about the outcome of it? Should we also subject it to the National Assembly?
Yes, only for the purposes of them passing it.
No input whatsoever?
No, none.
So why should it go to them if they're not going to make any input?
Because of the Constitution empowers them to pass laws.
Yeah, but if they're going to pass laws and make laws, they have to have an input. Well, what if they insist that, look, what do you think we're not rubber stamp?
The National Assembly cannot be bigger than the Nigerian people. So if we've decided on what we believe should be the basis for our corporate existence, I don't see how the National Assembly can interfere with the collective will and aspiration of Nigerians.
But when the president said it was going to go to them, the impression people have is not that of them just passing it. The impression people had while there was that hue and cry was that, look, they definitely will make an input, and who knows, it may just water down, defeat the entire process.
Which is what we're also worried about. Because what's the point? If the National Conference is going to end up on the table of the National Assembly, you might as well just allow the National Assembly continue with the amendment process.
Yeah, so if you're worried about that, why do you still think it should still go to them?
Because they need to give it legal status. Because that's the way laws are made. We have to give it legal status. Because we cannot ignore the fact that we have these existing institutions.
Okay, but at the end of the day, we expect that they will hold the conference, and I'm not sure that the recommendations that they've given will be followed hook, line, and sinker. Because so the president said, look, he thinks it's going to be that of ethnic nationalities, and the recommendations or suggestions seem otherwise, should we really have cause to worry? Because what if he says, no, this is what I intended, and I think we should still go with it in spite of what the recommendations were?
Like I pointed out earlier, this is a recommendation to the president. The reason why we're saying or we're pointing out these issues is to also assist the president in making his decision. What we want, the kind of national conference we want, is a national conference that will produce a truly Nigerian constitution. The presentation should be based on ethnic nationalities. Ethnic nationalities is like the DNA of Nigeria. It is the backbone of our existence. So that should be the basis for the presentation.
Shed some light on that. When you say a constitution, a truly Nigerian constitution, what does that mean? Does it mean some amendments, or should lead to a process where we'll come up with an entirely different or new constitution?
A constitution that is owned by Nigerians. What we have at the moment is a decree handed down by the military before they were leaving. What we are asking for is a constitution that is Nigerian. It is possible, in fact, for us after the national conference to still adopt most of the contents of the 1999 constitution. But it is important for us to have a sense of ownership. That's what all this noise is about, is ownership. Because at the moment, a lot of us do not feel any form of ownership, as far as this present 1999 constitution is
But how
concerned.
come some governors say that, look, well, much as some people hold that opinion and they have a right to, but if they even see, or if we implement the constitution, even 30, 40, 50%, we will be far better than we are today.
But let's agree on it first.
we all haven't agreed.
No, we have not. Let's agree on it first. Because that is the basis. Once we agree on it, then it becomes easy to implement. But when we don't agree on it, then that's where the problem is.
So is it because we're not agreeing on it, that's why some people just toss it to the corner and move on to do their...
Yes, because they were not consulted when it was put together. So why, now insisting that they obey, it becomes a problem. And so, but when we come together as ethnic nationalities and agree on the content, then it becomes very easy to obey and enforce.
In going about using ethnic nationalities, how is the representation going to be done? What does your committee think should go about, or how does the committee think they should go about picking the representation?
Well, you've mentioned, I used to know that we had about 250 ethnic groups, and I think that I agree that there may be more. So each ethnic nationality should be given a place at the table. Of course, there is going to be room for other interest groups like youths, Nigerian Labour Congress, the NBA, and all that. But the key thing is the cornerstone should be ethnic nationalities. Each of the ethnic nationalities that we've been able to identify should have a say on what is going to govern us, basically, because that's what we're made up of.
Okay, I'm just trying to see if I could pick a question or two from here, but let me look at Abegunde Emmanuel, who says, look, in his opinion, the House of Reps is a good representation of all ethnic nationalities in the nation. I know you disagree with this one.
Of course, because the thing is, it's about the structure, and again, that the people that are going to be thrown up are going to go as individuals, very likely. So it's important that these different ethnic nationalities are represented. I can understand that, it's easier to latch on to the easiest option, which is to use the existing structures that we have. But we need to find a way around it by ensuring that we deal with this organic problem.
Okay, so because as you say, the current structure is lopsided.
Yes.
And if you go with that,
people are already complaining about it. Yeah.
Okay. Collins Okeke is a legal practitioner. Thank you for coming on this morning.
It's a pleasure.
All right, we'll return after this. Please join us again.